Today's Thursday, July 26, 2018, and welcome to the Music Business Blitz. Music royalties traded in an open marketplace. I love stories like these because it goes to show that if you can think outside of the box, you can possibly change the game forever. So what we're talking about here is Royalty Exchange, who is a startup that have been making some pretty big headlines lately. The reason they're making these headlines is because they have been tapping into the private placement market to acquire a co-publishing share in Cage the Elephant's catalog through their first private syndicate offering. And if all this sounds a little foreign to you, let me go ahead and break it down. So Royalty Exchange is a startup company who has created, quote, the world's first online marketplace for buying and selling royalties. Yep, this company is looking to treat royalties like stocks on the stock market. And how this works is rather involved, but at a very high level, the company creates what they call special purpose vehicles, which are designed to hold music catalogs like that of Cage the Elephant. And then accredited investors can bid to buy shares of the entity, which grants them a proportional share of the royalty income that it ends up generating. So from an artist standpoint, they put their catalog up in Royalty Exchange's open marketplace, and then investors can drive the price of each share up or down and eventually can choose to buy the shares, which in return will grant them a proportional percentage of the royalty income earned from each song or, quote, share that it generates. And once the shares are bought, I'm sure that Royalty Exchange takes a cut and the rest goes to the artist, providing them with another financing stream. Now realize that you are selling off part of your royalty money, so in reality what artists are really gaining here is just really an advance, but instead of working behind closed doors with interested parties and getting, these quotes under the table, what Royalty Exchange is doing is providing transparency to this process and allowing the market to dictate what your possible royalty revenue stream is worth. So how are accredited investors defined? Well, apparently they include Wall Street financial institutions like a bank, an investment bank, an insurance fund, or investment advisors, a personal fund, a charitable organization, trust, or corporation with assets exceeding $5 million, or an individual with a net worth of more than $1 million, excluding the value of that particular person's home. European music festivals go cashless. A 4-day music festival held in the south of England called Bestival, as well as its sister festival called Camp Festival, is going cashless, and concert goers will be relying on wristbands with contactless chips to make any type of payment at the festival. Organizers signed a 3-year deal with a company called Tapit, who is supplying the wristbands and who claims that they've been able to establish a cashless payment infrastructure for the festival in less than 1 month. In addition, their marketing of the technology promises shorter lines, increased revenue, quicker transactions, and a reduction in theft and fraud. Now, if you've been to European festivals before, you may have seen these wristbands in action because in 2015, Download was the first festival to use this technology, and apparently they only experienced minor technical issues. And not only are these wristbands used as a payment system, but as you might have already guessed, they also provide festival organizers with data that is parsed out showing the purchasing habits of all concert goers. For example, at what time of the day is more beer sold? What food vendors are the most popular? What attractions at the festival are the most popular? It's these types of questions that this type of technology can give the festival organizers in real time. Now, I really can't think of a drawback here, assuming that festival organizers work the cost of these wristbands into the ticket, because I can hear concert goers being like, what, I gotta pay additional money? And then on top of that, you gotta assume that there is a working infrastructure in place and that there is also some type of security measure to disable the use of a wristband if it is stolen. A streaming service dedicated to anime fans. Now, if you're an anime fan, then August 1st is a day that you need to write down, because on this glorious day, Anasong streaming service Aniyuta will be released in the US, complete with apps on both iOS and Android. The service was founded in Japan in 2017 and is the very first streaming service dedicated to anime music, with a catalog housing over 10,000 songs from various anime favorites. Now, the service, it's going to cost you a monthly fee of $4.99, but if you're a little hesitant to throw that down initially, you can still download the app and try out a demo version of it. Now, I'm very curious to see how this particular app does, because it signals to me that very niche markets are trying their hand in the streaming game, which makes sense because not all music is found on popular platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. For example, when I'm looking for very particular film scores and I can't find them on streaming, I ask myself, would I pay $5 a month to get an app that focuses just on film music? Yes, I would. Sirius XM is growing and partnering with Netflix. So when I think of satellite radio, I think of a no commercial radio service in high quality that comes with every brand new car, but then after you find out how much a subscription costs, you probably don't renew it. Now, apparently I'm in the minority because the satellite radio giant Sirius XM recently reported their second quarter earnings and saw a 45% increase in quarterly revenue, while also gaining a new total subscriber base of 33.5 million users. Now, the company points to their recent Pandora investment and the new tax law for the growth, but things don't stop there, because Sirius XM also recently announced an agreement with Netflix that will see the streaming giant create and launch a comedy-focused satellite radio channel. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Do something nice for somebody, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow.